This is Sim Update 5 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It brings with it a whole bunch of changes planned right here on the Xbox Series X. It's also available on the Series S as well as the PC. One of the changes you can see in effect right here. We'll have a closer look at this further into the video with a lovely water effect we see coming off the tyres. What else is available in Sim Update 5 then? Well, let's take a look. The first thing that long-time simmers of a Flight Simulator will notice is the new menu layout here. Discovery Flights is now given the priority in the top left, but moving over the world map further to the right. Discovery Flights are a fantastic way to jump straight in and discover the beauty of the world that Asobo have created in this sim. The Discovery Flights have been broken down into two categories, core flights at the top and world updates at the bottom. And to fully appreciate these additional ones at the bottom, you will need to download the free world updates from the InSim marketplace. So let's jump straight in and take a look at Naples. One thing you'll notice straight away is that the Discovery Flights start you off in the air. What's more, they start you off in the external cam. The Autopilot is also enabled by default, so these Discovery Flights are very much about the world tour rather than learning to fly the plane. You're free to switch between the camera modes. I'm using the showcase camera here, or you can sit inside the cockpit if you so want. And of course, you're totally free to disable the autopilot and take full control of the plane yourself. Incidentally, the music you hear in the background is played by the sim as you undergo these flights. Another new feature with the latest update is the improvements to the AI Assist. Now you can use this on the Discovery Flights that we're in just now, or you can use these on any occasion that you actually want. And it's very simple. You simply jump into the Flight Assist menu and you've got this section interesting places around you. You can switch between airports, landmarks, fauna and cities as well. Also worth pointing out is the AI down the bottom. We've also always had AI piloting. Now you can switch any one of these on or off: AI piloting, AI stall protection or AI auto trim. And these will give you various different levels of control over the plane. Now, as you can see, I've chosen a specific airport to fly towards. Simply chose that and selected a set as destination. The plane will then automatically fly toward that location. There we are, it's coming right up in front of us there. You can change this at any time. We just click on cancel destination or choose a new location. Let's choose a landmark instead, and we can then set that one as the destination. The plane will then head in that direction. So again, you can use this at any time. You can use this during the Discovery Flights, or you can use it on a regular flight. Heads up though, it does only work when these landmarks and airports are within a certain range of you. If you go into the middle of the deserts, then you'll probably have no landmarks or airports nearby, and therefore it simply isn't available. Now, for those of you who are new to Microsoft Flight Simulator and like the idea of pre-created flights, you can always undertake one of the many bush trips. These are pre-created flights. They have multiple stages to them. Down on the bottom there, the different thumbnails, you can see different legs of this particular bush trip. You have to complete each one in turn before you can progress on to the next. And the menu on the middle right of the screen will give you an indication of how long each leg of the flight actually takes. So each different bush trip will have its own plane preset. This is the X-Cub. So if you're used to a specific plane, this may take a bit of getting used to. It will also require some basic understanding of navigation, and you're going to need to use the navlog in order to do that. And here you can see each stage of the trip. Quite a long one all in all. Bush trips then are another lovely way of experiencing the world of a Microsoft Flight Simulator. So whilst bush trips certainly require a bit of experience, for those with slightly less experience, there is the flight training. This has been completely overhauled for Sim Update 5 as well as the Xbox release, meaning that there are more steps and more tutorials involved in the entire process. You can walk through each one of these in turn, or just pick and choose the ones that you feel most suit you.
Welcome to Sedona. I'm Captain Jess Molina and I'll be your instructor. For this lesson, we're going to start on the ground and focus on some basic concepts. Fundamentals every pilot needs to know before hitting the skies. This is your plane, a classic, the Cessna 152. Take a look around it.
So as you can see, the sim starts you out with the complete basics if you start at the first step of the tutorial. Now, I did have trouble with this actually. This is the first part of the tutorial and it tries to teach you use of the cursor. This is the cursor that you can control with the Xbox control pad. You can see the little circle there. I have absolutely no control over it. I can't work out what's going on here. There is a way to bind the toggle keys. This toggles cursor mode on and off. And if we just come into the controller options here, we can see I've bound that to that particular key combination. So I tried a different key combination, thinking that maybe that would help. Unfortunately, it didn't. Now I do know cursor mode works for other people. I've seen some other videos where it is working. On screen you can see a little sample from Squirrel here, where the cursor of the gamepad cursor is working perfectly fine. But it's not working for me. It's never worked on the Xbox version since I first installed it. And that's the same story for both the Xbox Series X as well as the Xbox Series S. It just simply doesn't work. Mentioning this because some of you may have the same problem, or this may just be a quirk of the pre-release build. Let's hope it's a case of that and it'll go away on launch. Fortunately for me, the sim is fully compatible with mouse and keyboard, and generally speaking anyway, I find that much easier to use. Now here we are on the map screen. The map screen has been overhauled for Sim Update 5 and we've now got full satellite imagery no matter how close you zoom in. You will no doubt remember, those of you who have been playing on the PC up till this point, that zooming in on the world map just gave you a grey screen. So this is vastly improved. It's essentially Bing Maps without the advanced features such as Street View and 3D cities, but more than good enough for what we need in Flight Simulator. Sim Update 5 also adds in some new takeoff and landing effects. Before we get to that, here's something for you new simmers. If you go into the weather panel, you can click live weather and this should give you live weather for your local area. Now this hasn't always been working effectively, but it did seem to be working right there on the occasion that I used it. For this example though, we need wet weather and it's raining very heavily here. As we get up to speed, you can see the water spray coming off the tyres there. Now this is kind of an interesting feature in some ways because it's definitely something that people who sit inside the cockpit all the time are probably not going to notice. Yet it's one of those features that have been requested for a very long time, not too unlike contrails which were added in a previous sim update. Another thing you'll probably want to check out is these skis that have been added to a certain set of planes. I've added a whole bunch of snow here, 100 centimeters in fact, but it's pretty clear to me that this isn't a meter of snow. Nonetheless, there we see the skis in effect. Also, water floats have been added to the same subset of planes. There we have it. There we have it then, 5 things that you may want to try out in Sim Update 5. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys and girls next time.